So today is really just an extension of yesterday. Yesterday you found the equation of the line if you were just given 2 points. Today I'm going to give you a table to do that. And nothing is really different. You'll just be picking 2 points from the table and then finding the equation of the line. But before we do that, I want to take a look at some special lines. So we're going to do it from 2 points initially just to examine those special points, and then we'll look at a table. So here's 2 points. And just like yesterday, we're first going to find the slope, and then we're going to use the slope in one of those points to find the equation, okay? So this is a special line. How can you look at this and just instantly know it's a special line? Colin? Yeah, y equals 2 both times. So what do you think the equation is going to be off the top of your head? Kara? Robbie? Slope is 0. So that's what you were saying too, Kara, right? What would be the equation of the line? Irvin?
Y is equal to 2.
Awesome. If it's 2 here, and it's 2 here, and the line is straight, it's just going to be straight through that 2 constantly. Actually, let's see, y is 2, it'd be like that. It's horizontal, okay? But let's go through the process of actually doing this so it's more clear. So we're looking for the slope, we're looking for the y-intercept, and then we will use those 2 things to build our equation. So the slope, for the slope, we're going to subtract our y's on the top. Bless you. Bless you. We're going to subtract our x's on the bottom. And when we do that, we get 0 over 8. So the slope is 0, which you guys already knew. Just by talking it through, you knew the slope was going to be 0, which means it's horizontal, right? Horizontal line is the slope of 0. But let's use the slope in one of these points now to find out what the y-intercept should be. So I'm going to use this point. So my y is 2. My slope is 0. My x is -3. And I do not know what my b is. But this has a value of 0, because 0 times anything is 0. So what we're left with is b is equal to 2. Now when I write my equation, with using this information, it is y is equal to 0, x plus 2. Well, we're not going to leave it like that. This has a value of 0. So we are just going to rewrite it as y is equal to 2. And that's our equation. And like we said at the beginning, just looking at the special point, or just looking at the 2 points, we can already see that y is always equal to 2. So that has to be your equation. Y is equal to 2. So next, let's look at, I cannot talk today. Let's look at the other circumstance. Our other special line. Okay, right off the bat, I know this is going to be special because x is -1 here and x is -1 here. Can anyone guess what the line is going to be, what the equation is? Jordan. So the slope is undefined, and then what is that equation, Carl? X equals -1. Good, good. Okay, so let's go through the process of actually looking at this. So you can write the equation without having to do any work here just because of these 2 points. But if you're not sure, you can do some work. So 4 minus -3, and then -1 minus -1. So this is going to be 7 on the top, 0 on the bottom, and just like Jordan said, this slope is undefined. Undefined. If the slope is undefined, it is vertical. It is a wall, okay? And undefined lines do not have y-intercepts because they don't cross the y-axis. Unless x is equal to 0, then it is the y-axis, but that's a rare circumstance. So there is no y-intercept. So you're going to have to just know that if x is -1 here and x is -1 here, x is always -1. Okay. Now, I'm only going to do one example of a table because you guys already have these skills. I just want to make sure you see how to get there, to get to a place that you already know. So I'm going to create a small table here. Okay, so we're assuming this table represents a linear relationship. So you can pick any 2 points off of that table, out of that table, and you'll be able to find the equation of the line. I'm just going to pick the middle 2 right here. So 0, 8, and 2, 11. I'm going to find the slope and the y-intercept. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the slope using these 2 points. So 11 minus 8 over 2 minus 0 is 3 halves. So my slope is 3 halves. Now, you can plug in one of these points and the slope to find the y-intercept, but this table gives it to you. Can anyone look at that table and tell me what the y-intercept is? Chris? 8. Good. 8. It's right here, because the y-intercept is where x is equal to 0. And now we can write our equation. Y is equal to 3 halves x plus 8. If the table is not always going to give you the y-intercept, so if it doesn't give you the y-intercept, just use any point. You could plug in 2 for x, 11 for y, plug in your slope, and solve for b. Now, you can check your answer and make sure you're correct. I'll use this last point. If I plug in 4 for x, 3 halves times 4 is 6. 6 plus 8 is 14, and that is correct. Okay, so you can always check your equation just by plugging in a random point on that table, and it should work. Any questions for me? Do you feel like you need another example, or are you ready just to jump into IXL? Ready to move on? All right, get to it then.